my landlord ignored my complaints about him sneaking into my apartment, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I ordered a set of cheap nanny cams online. Little black cubes with wide, unblinking eyes. I set them up in corners, tucked them on shelves, even hid one behind a stack of books. I wasn't expecting much, just grainy footage of him rifling through my things so I'd have proof. Boy, was I wrong. The first night I checked the recordings, I blinked in confusion. It wasn't my apartment. The feed showed a cramped kitchen with floral wallpaper I'd never seen before. A woman stood at the stove, stirring a pot while humming softly. At first I thought the camera had glitched, maybe picked up some stray Wi-Fi signal. But the angle was too steady, too deliberate, like the lens was inside her home. The next night, it was a different apartment. A young couple arguing in their living room. She threw her arms up. He slammed the door. Neither looked at the camera, though it sat plain as day on their shelf, watching them. Check this out. Each night the feeds changed. One by one, the building's lives unfolded before me. An old man dozing in front of his TV. A kid lying awake past midnight, whispering to someone unseen. It felt wrong to watch, but curiosity rooted me in place. The cameras weren't just mine anymore. They were showing me the whole building. By the end of the week, the voyeurism had turned from unsettling to horrifying. The kids' whispers turned into screams. The old man stopped moving, but the TV flickered on anyway. I tried pulling the SD cards, but each morning new files appeared, stamped neatly by the hour. Then came the night I saw myself. I opened the folder and froze. There I was, sitting on my couch, wearing yesterday's hoodie. My face looked wrong. The grin stretched too far, cheeks pulled tight, eyes wide and unblinking. I stared straight at the camera, as if I knew I was being recorded. The timestamp chilled me. Tomorrow. I didn't sleep. I paced my apartment, every shadow feeling like a countdown. By morning, I convinced myself it had to be a trick. Maybe I'd left the camera on during setup. Maybe the clock was wrong. But when night came, I couldn't resist checking again. The new video started with me walking into my living room. I sat on the couch, smiled, tilted my head at the camera, just like before. Only this time, after a long stillness, I lifted my hand and waved. You won't believe this. I swear my own body froze as I watched. The woman on the screen leaned closer to the lens, filling the frame with her too wide grin. She whispered something, words so faint I couldn't make them out. Then she got up and walked out of frame. I ran to the corner shelf where the nanny cam sat. Empty. No red light, no plastic cube, nothing but bare wood. When I turned back toward the couch, my breath caught. Someone was sitting there. Me. She was smiling, waiting. I bought the DSLR off a second-hand marketplace because it was cheap, cheaper than it should have been. The seller never answered my messages, just left it in a box at the pickup spot, with my name scribbled on the side. When I got back to my apartment, I powered it on. The battery was nearly dead, but there was still a memory card inside. Curiosity won over. Before even testing the camera, I slid the card into my laptop. There were 6 video files, but that's not all. The first 5 were shaky, low-light shots of a bedroom and kitchen. The layout looked eerily familiar. Pale yellow walls, a scuffed counter, the same warped closet door I saw every morning in my own apartment. I froze. These weren't random test shots. They were from inside a place identical to mine. The 6th file was different. It opened on a static view of a bed. My bed, blankets twisted, pillow with the cigarette burn mark I tried to cover up, and me. On screen, I was asleep, breathing slow and steady. The angle came from the ceiling corner, as if someone had mounted the camera high above. But I'd never done that. I paused the video, heart hammering, and replayed it. My chest rose and fell on the screen, perfectly in time with my memory of last night. I must have sat frozen for 10 minutes, staring. That's when I noticed the date stamp, 3 nights ago. Shaking, I scrubbed to the end of the file. The footage ended abruptly. No sound, no movement, just the faint outline of me shifting under the sheets before the clip cut to black. I ejected the card, shoved it back into the camera, and flipped through the menus. The videos weren't listed. It was like they only existed when viewed on my laptop. I didn't sleep that night. I left every light on, the DSLR stuffed in a drawer. But by morning, exhaustion won. I crashed for a few hours on the couch. When I woke up, the camera was on the coffee table. I hadn't moved it. My laptop was open too, with a new file waiting on the desktop. No timestamp, no name, just video 7. My throat went dry as I clicked. Now pay attention to this. The screen lit up with an image of me, lying exactly where I was now, on the couch, blanket thrown over my legs. But the me on screen wasn't asleep. He was wide awake, eyes open, staring at me, not into the lens at me, through the screen, like he knew I was watching. Slowly he raised a hand and waved. The video ended. I slammed the laptop shut, packed the camera in its box, and walked 3 blocks to the dumpster behind my building. I threw it in without looking back. That should have been the end. But tonight, as I sit here trying to convince myself I imagined everything, I hear the faint click of a shutter from the corner of the ceiling, and I don't own a camera anymore. I thought it would be a fun gimmick. My channel had been stagnating, and everyone online was doing the same tired jump scares. So I decided to set up multiple cameras in my room, angled at each other, to create an infinite mirror effect. Cheap lighting, mirrors, and a looping stream. Simple, eerie, eye-catching. Worst mistake of my life. At first it worked perfectly. The feed was mesmerizing. Rows upon rows of me fading into forever. Each reflection smaller and dimmer, until the screen went black in the distance. My viewers seemed hypnotized, leaving comments like, "This looks sick and trippy setup, bro." But then one of them typed, "Wait, who's that behind you?" I chuckled, assuming they were trolling. But curiosity made me glance at the feed. Sure enough, in the reflection, far back among the endless copies of myself, there was something else, a smudge of a figure. Too tall, shoulders too narrow, its head tilted in a way no human holds their neck. Curiosity got the better of me. I turned around. Nothing, just my empty room. I told the chat it was probably a trick of the angles, but when I shifted the cameras, adjusted the mirrors, the figure was still there. Closer, a faint outline now, like static given shape. The chat went wild. "It moved. It's right behind you. Don't move." I laughed nervously. "You guys are messing with me." But my voice cracked. I leaned toward the nearest camera, staring into its lens, and whispered, "What do you see?" The responses came instantly, flooding the screen. "It's smiling. It's right by your shoulder. Don't turn around." I couldn't help myself. I spun around fast, again empty, nothing but the faint hum of my PC. The wires snaking across the floor. My palms were slick, my heart hammered. I told myself it was just lag, glitches, compression artifacts. But then the thing broke its pattern. In the reflection, every copy of me sat in my chair, but only one, 6 rows back, was different. That me wasn't moving in sync. He sat frozen, eyes wide, lips curled back in a grin too wide for my face, and behind him, the figure pressed its long fingers onto his shoulders. I swore under my breath and ripped the HDMI cables from the cameras. One by one, I unplugged them until only black screens remained. Or so I thought. The feed stayed live. Even with every cable severed, the reflection streamed on. My viewers kept typing frantically. "It's not in the mirror anymore. Look." I stared at the monitor. The reflections were gone. Just one camera feed now. My room, my chair. Except the me in the feed wasn't moving. He sat there, grinning at the camera, while I hovered behind him in real life, trembling. And then my reflection blinked. Not me. Him. The grin widened, teeth glistening too long and too sharp. Slowly, The version of me in the feed raised a finger to his lips. Shush. I froze. Behind me, in the quiet of my own room, the floorboards creaked. Thanks for listening. Now close your eyes and sleep.